everybody, Taylor. Welcome back to In the Record Room, the YouTube show for all things vinyl and all things soul. Now, if you're enjoying our episodes, then please subscribe to the channel. That way you can make sure that every time a new episode is released, you know about it straight away. In terms of today, I'm really excited because I'm joined by DJ, collector and promoter Lynne Girdwood. Lynne, thank you for coming along to the show. How are you?
Thank you for asking me. I'm very well, thank you.
It's a real...
Oh, sorry. I'm just Sunday morning, no hangover, so it's all good.
Well, that's a good place to start, I suppose, isn't it? Now, we have met over Facebook for a few years now, I think, and I had been saying that I wanted you and Dave to come over and play, and we've never got round to it. But one of the reasons why I was interested in bringing you on the show is because I love the playlists that you post. I mean, you posted you were in Berlin recently, I think, weren't you?
We've been over a couple of times. We were over in December and then back over at the end of January. And I think it was the end of January one that you were commenting on. And that was for Dave Thorley's do. He puts on a Disco 30.
That's the one.
It's called.
Yeah.
And it's amazing. And it did like a weekender type affair this time. So we had a night on the Friday, which... I think it went on till 4 or 5, and then we had an afternoon spot. It's a great venue. The Friday night venue is amazing. Monarch, it's called. Really great bar.
Yeah.
And then it's a really up for it crowd as well, which is amazing. It's not just a soul crowd.
Yeah.
You get a lot of students and stuff in as well, and they just go for it, which is just amazing. Yeah. There's nothing better than you playing a set and everybody just dancing to the whole thing. It's amazing. It's
very liberating, isn't it? Because sometimes, I'm sure, I mean, you've got years of experience of playing. Sometimes when you're playing, you know you're going to be reasonably limited in what you can play because of the expectations of the crowd, and that's no disrespect to the crowd, but sometimes when you have a space, a venue, a night, a slot where you can really try and sort of push out to where you want to be, it's a thrill, isn't it?
No, definitely, and I think that's the whole policy of Disco 30. And there's also Hysteric Disco in Berlin as well. That's run by Polly Jones.
Yes.
And we've been lucky enough to play there too. And it's just across the board. So you just get to play anything you want, which is great for me because I love all things soulful. I mean, I love Northern Soul, Soulful House.
Yeah.
I love a lot of disco, 90s R&B. You know, I'll just play anything.
Yeah.
Anything that I love, basically, even if I'm the only one dancing.
Well, I mean, that happens sometimes, but like all of this comes from inside, doesn't it? And all of this comes from a love that we have of the music, that we are prepared to make ourselves vulnerable enough by choosing records for other people, because it can make us very vulnerable, I think, sometimes. You know, and you're hanging on, hoping that people will dance to a record, and as you say, it's just you dancing. I mean, it's a common experience, though, isn't it? I think. Yeah,
and you think to yourself, you know, sometimes you think you play one of your favourite records that you just can't get enough of, and you don't understand why nobody else is feeling the same. This is an amazing tune. Why are you not dancing? Why are you not getting this? You know. So but I tend to sing and dance to my records that I'm playing anyway. So I love them. I just hope that everybody else is going to love them as well.
I think so, but I mean, the thing about it, Lynne, is that it's like anything in life. If you're passionate and people see your passion, then that's half the battle, isn't it? Because then they can at least say, well, look, she really cares about this. She loves this song. And I think 9 times out of 10, unless you are really, really unlucky, people respond to someone else's passion and it kind of inspires them and it motivates them to dance and things like that. I mean, maybe what we might do before we think about your records is, where did this love of music come from? Can you remember where it kind of began?
Well, I mean, I guess I'm a newcomer to the soul thing, the soul scene, I suppose. I've always liked soul music. My dad used to play, he loved Motown.
Yeah.
So there was always Motown records getting played in the house. But then when I was younger, I was more into the 16, 17, got into like the clubbing scene. So I
Yeah.
started going clubbing in Scotland and going over to Ibiza and things like that. So I've always loved soulful house.
Yes. Yes.
And then I think from there, Dave and I got together in 2011.
Right.
And I lived in Amsterdam at the time.
Okay.
And I guess it was him that really got me into the Northern thing, because I hadn't really heard a lot. And I think one of the first records he ever played me was Bobby Lynne, Earthquake.
Okay, very nice.
And I remember thinking, God, that's really good. You know, I really love that. And then he had his iPod was just full Northern records. So he really got me into the Northern scene. And then I lived in Amsterdam when we got together in 2011, and he moved over to live with me at the start of 2012. And I went to my first soul club in Amsterdam, Amsterdam Soul Club, funnily enough. And it was amazing, and I just couldn't believe in the dancing and everything. I just loved watching everybody dancing, and I loved the music. And we're actually really lucky that the guys that run Amsterdam Soul Club are good friends of ours now, and they have us back over.
Yeah.
We DJ over there quite a lot. Well, we did before the lockdown. So hoping to get back over there to do that. But yeah, I guess really Dave got me into the Northern side. So I mean, I've only really been collecting records since about 2013.
Well, but it's it's an exciting story, because you can see, I mean, I like yourself, I got really into the house scene and kind of in my local area, and saw all of these big all-nighters and things. But when you come back to the soul thing, you can see the development, and that's why you can understand how, if you're in the right venue, you can play right across the spectrum. You're not just going to play something that would have been on a Kent album. You can play anything up to, because then you start thinking about gospel and the soulful gospel house stuff as well. I think it doesn't matter where you come to or where you come to it from. I think you can move backwards and forwards from the 60s up till now. I mean, there's all of the great new soul stuff around at the moment.
Definitely. There's loads of good new releases as well.
Yeah, I mean...
and it's difficult to stop buying them, I must say.
Oh, that's the hardest thing. It is the hardest thing.
When Dave and I, we moved back home from Amsterdam, I think it was like the August 2012.
Yeah.
And that's when we really started to go out to soul clubs up here. And that was kind of the first time that we'd went out together and met all these amazing people. And Dave started collecting before I did.
Yeah.
And I always remember the postman would come and there would be like, he'd have like a pile of records like this size, like every day. And I'd be like, what are you spending all that money on? And he's like, oh, no, they were only a £5. Right then.
The famous fiver. I've heard that story before, the famous fiver. Oh, the postage was cheap is another one, isn't it?
Right. Oh, they were really cheap then. Oh, right, okay. And then so now our living room is just full of records and record boxes, and our spare bedroom is the same. It's just full. But it's a compulsion, isn't it? It's like you hear a record and you think, God, I've got to have that.
Do you know, I think it's like when I was 12, 13, 14, I first was exposed to a lot of this stuff, but I didn't have any money. I just I barely had enough money for a packet of JPS or whatever it was. People smoked when they were that age. But I think it is a compulsion, but it comes from love. It's not a weird compulsion. It's not, it's not hoarding. It comes from love, because this is what you would dance to anyway. And this is what you'd listen to. So... And a word that you used earlier, which we don't hear much anymore, is iPod. Now, to have an iPod full of soul music and then start, start collecting. I mean, I lost all my vinyl years ago through various moves around the southeast of England. So I've only been collecting again in the last few years, and I just resolved to buy stuff I didn't ever have before. Certainly don't buy expensive stuff. you know, and I just buy things I like. I mean, is there certain things you look for? What sort of stuff would you buy? Some people like, I was talking to someone last night, they like strings. So if they hear
I love
something,
strings. Yeah.
so what else would you buy, or what if you're going to buy something? I mean, what are you looking for?
What am I looking for? I guess just if you hear a record and it just gets, you know, you get that goosebumpy feeling at the back of your head.
Yeah.
Proper,
Yeah.
and the hairs on your arms are standing on end. You think, God. I don't have a one particular style of music that I love more than anything else. I mean, everything's soulful. Anything's soulful. I mean, I guess soulful house was a huge love of mine for years. So I still love that, and I still play that.
Yeah, yeah.
And then, I mean, I love up-tempo 60s, but I love a good ballad as well. I mean, I don't really have one particular style that is my favourite.
Yeah.
I just love it all. I guess what we always say is there's not such a thing as different genres, and there's good music and bad music, and that's it. So
I think, I mean, it comes down to a fundamental thing, a physical reaction to 3 minutes of sound, and that can be a house track, that can be an early 60s kind of like banging ballad or something that's really being chucked out. It can be a gospel track. It doesn't matter. I think you're right. It just comes down to what do I like? And I'm allowed to like this as well, you know. It's kind of
and I've always been a great believer in it doesn't matter what anybody else thinks. You know, I've never understood people that buy records because everybody else likes it, or you'll buy a record because it'll fill a dance floor. Like, I always think that this is my money and I'm going to spend it on something that I love.
Yeah.
You know, I guess that's the collector thing, I suppose. Because I started collecting records before I got asked to play any records. And then, I always think, if I'm going to spend this amount of money, or it doesn't matter what amount of money, even if it's just a tenner, you know, I want it to be on something that I love.
Yeah.
And then if I'm lucky enough to get asked to play somewhere, then I'm playing records that I've bought because I've genuinely loved them. Do you know what I mean? And not because I think other people are going to like them. You know, I buy them for me first and foremost.
I think it's like anything creative. We do it for ourselves. And then because we care so much about something, then we're able to demonstrate that love to other people, and that becomes contagious and infectious. There's nothing more wonderful than seeing people who care about things. Now, it can be anything. You know, we could be having a conversation about football or books or gardening. The fact that we're talking about soul music is because it's something that we're both really passionate about. And I just love to see passion in people. It's something that you respond to. And especially in these dark pandemic times, I think it's even more vital to be talking about passion. Perhaps I could ask you, how did you go from buying to playing? Can you remember your first set?
I can. I still actually feel really privileged to be asked to play anywhere. I still think it's amazing, and I'm delighted about the whole thing. But it was my good friend Tony Bruce.
Okay.
He used to run a night up in Aberdeen called the Soul Collective. He's had some amazing people playing up there for him. And it was December 2015.
Brilliant.
That he first asked me to play. And I just remember thinking, what? Like, what are you talking about? But being like chuffed to bits.
Yeah.
Because Dave had been DJing for a couple of years before me.
Yeah.
And he got spots to ask to play, and I just couldn't believe it. And I'm always really thankful to be asked to play anywhere because I love it.
Yeah, yeah.
It's such a buzz, like. But he's a very, very good, very dear friend of ours, and he gave me my first spot, and I'll never forget that.
Can you remember what you played, or a couple of the tracks you played?
I was just going to say that I could probably remember my playlist. I remember playing Rudy Love. Oh, sorry, go for it.
No. You carry on, Lynne.
I played Rudy Love and the Company Soul, Suffer and Wrath, which
Lovely.
is
Yeah.
one of my all-time favourite records.
Yeah.
I'm telling you that I can remember it, and now I can't.
I've put you on the spot, though, in front of millions of people, haven't I?
So, yeah, I only played that one record.
Yeah, well, it must have gone down well, because you've been gigging since he played that one record, so it must have been spectacular. What a debut. Maybe then, I'll tell you what we'll do. Let's. I always do clumsy segues. Let's move into the first record that you've chosen for the show, and perhaps you might show it to me, because I just love the look of vinyl. What have you got?
Well, I've actually cheated a wee bit, Barney, and I've got 5, right? So we don't need to talk about the 5.
You could do the 2 at the end as honorary mentions.
So this is one of my favourite records, and Dave and I always joke because I very rarely buy really great double-siders.
Okay.
I buy it for the tune that I love, and then I flip it over, and I'm like, oh my goodness, that's rubbish. Or, I don't know. And it generally happens with me. Dave tends to get the good double-siders. However, this is a brilliant double-sider. So it's upside down as well.
It's fine. I can see it's cotillion, so already I'm interested.
It's Moses Smith. Come On, Let Me Love You.
Oh, nice. So talk to me about this then. Why this one?
Well, this particular tune, I can't even remember when I first heard it. But again, it was one of the ones where you hear it and, it kind of stops you in your tracks, if you like.
Yeah.
And the whole goosebumpy thing that we were talking about.
Yeah.
I just love the lyrics. I'm very much a vocal person. I'm not a huge fan of instrumentals.
Right.
I like to connect my record with the vocals.
Yeah.
And I'm a terrible singer, but I love to sing. So if you can get a record that you can sing along to, I love a big heartfelt vocal. So I love Moses Smith's voice as well. So this one is just awesome. And the B-side, Keep On Striving.
Okay, yeah.
My nails are terrible. The B-side, Keep On Striving is a lovely tune as well. So that's one of my very few double-siders that I've bought.
Oh, congratulations. Is it something, do you play out either side much? Like, would it always be something you'd play?
I play out both sides as often as I can. It took me a while to get it, actually. And I remember when I first started collecting records, it was, you'd look at the prices and you'd think, £40, that's really expensive. And then you get to the stage where you're like that, that's only £100.
Yeah, that's fine. I can tell someone else that's a £5 anyway, so it'll be good.
Yeah, I mean, this was, Mum, if you're watching, this was a £5.
The best £5 you ever spent.
But I think this one, at the time, it took me a while to get a hold of it.
Yeah.
And one of the things, where eventually you find a copy and then you just can't wait for it to come through the door.
Yeah.
And then I've been playing it ever since. I think actually I played this in my first spot at Tony's, and I'm still playing it. So
you played 2 records on that fateful night then?
2 records. I only played the one side of it, yeah. So that's half an hour each for each one of these records.
Well, it's fine, because if you've got multiple copies, you can just keep going backwards and forwards. It's a lovely song, and I think there's something about when we have worked towards finding something. Now, sometimes it's just a case of waiting. I mean, or is it a case of saving money, or is it a case of waiting for a decent copy? I don't think it matters, because I mean, personally, I don't spend big money on things because I don't have it, and that doesn't stop me from digging and collecting and trying to look for different things. But I think it doesn't matter at the end. It's in your record box. You love it so much that as long as the mic
I will never part with that one.
Yeah, and as long as the mic is turned down, you can sing along as loud as you want, can't you?
Yeah, and thankful for everybody else that they can't hear me singing, because I really am dreadful.
But that doesn't matter, though, does it? It doesn't matter. Because imagine if you, an alternative scenario where you put on a beautiful record and you just stand like this.
Exactly.
I mean, how's that going to work? Everyone's going to think, she doesn't care.
Exactly. So it's good. It's good to have a wee sing along to your own records, I think, and I do it on a regular basis.
I think well, look, you would sing along if you were dancing as well. Like if that came on and you weren't playing, but it came on, you'd probably dance to it anyway because you love it so much.
Yeah.
I mean, and you'd be perfectly allowed to sing along. It's kind of what we do because it's celebrating it as well. It's celebrating the experience, and it's physically demonstrating our love for something. And I think that's perfectly acceptable to love things and love things so much.
And I have been known to, like, you know, come around behind the decks onto the dance floor if I'm playing a record that I really love, have a quick dance, and then get back.
As long as you can get back in time, or put on a 12-inch or something, so you've got a bit more time. But it's lovely talking to you, Lynne, because I can really hear this there's just a sheer joy every time you talk about this. You've just got a great big smile on your face, which is what life should be, I think.
Aye, exactly. And I think I think even if I didn't get another spot, get asked to play anywhere, I would still collect records because I just love them. And that's what Dave and I always say. But there's a rule in our house. Like, I mean, I guess I don't even know how many records I buy a month. I don't even know if I want to think about how many records I buy a month. But we always flip them as well. So as soon as a record comes in, you don't just play the side that you bought it for. You've got to flip it. And we've discovered so many great records by doing that. Yeah. That people, and the amount of people that you talk to, and you're like, oh, the flip's really good. And they're like, oh, I've never flipped it over. Yeah. But I think that should be the rule when you're buying records. You need to play.
I think that's really interesting. Two things that come up. A lot of people I've talked to, they talk about mixtapes and how very important they were. So you could do a show on mixtapes, which I was thinking I might do. But flips, a lot of people don't even realise what they've got on the other side. And then it's months, years later, then they go, you know what? Actually,
or somebody will play it and they're like, God, that's amazing, I'm going to buy that. And then you look it up and you're like, wait a minute, I've got that already.
I've already got that. I just never listened to the flip. That's part of the discovery as well, isn't it? Because as you say, sometimes you don't buy a record for the two sides. You buy it for the side you want.
Yeah.
And then it's added value, I suppose, or it's part of a further thrill then, isn't it? Because you're like, oh my God, not only do I love this, but now I've got this as well. And then you have to think, well, can I play both sides in a set? How do I get away with that? And it's kind of juggling and balancing. So what's your second record? What have you got for us to have a look at as your second record?
My second record is a record that means an awful lot to Dave and I. I'll give you a wee backstory to this.
Please do. I'm so nosy.
Excuse me.
No, I'm so nosy, Lynne.
So this is Johnny McCall, I Need You.
Oh, lovely.
Which is just a gorgeous, gorgeous record anyway.
Yeah.
But Dave and I got engaged. Well, obviously, we lived in Amsterdam, and then we came back, and then we go back every year after that. We go over once a year anyway.
Yeah.
And we were going over for a weekend just to go back. We were staying in a hotel near where our old flat and everything used to be. And we were going to Amsterdam Soul Club. Lovely. And Dave proposed to me that weekend.
Wow.
I know, how romantic. For once. So we went to Amsterdam. We went to Amsterdam Soul Club that night, and this was one of the first records that was getting played, and I remember just thinking, what is that? Like, that's just amazing. And I went up and asked Ross, and it was Johnny McCall, and this is one that took me ages to get. Like, I mean, I had looked for this for years, and I remember a copy coming up. Was it on eBay? I think it was on eBay.
Right.
And what? This is for Darren Brown. Actually, we got this one for Darren Brown. But it took me years to get it.
Yeah.
And this one, I'm getting buried with this one. I'm never ever getting rid of this one. It means a lot to Dave and I.
Yeah.
We get a bit mushy whenever we hear it getting played.
Well, but you know, this is why it's such a thrill to listen to your stories, because also these little bits of vinyl connect us emotionally, physically,
Yeah.
historically, and geographically. They link us to places, the first place you heard it, the
Yeah.
place you found it, what you were doing when you heard it. And I think that's what it should be. That's exactly where we are with these things, and that's why you're never going to get rid of it. That's why it's going to be in the coffin with you, and it'll be played at your funeral or whatever.
Yeah, that's the thing. And like, I think when you hear a record, it just makes you remember. It's all memories, isn't it? Memories of people and places, and this is just, it's a very, very special record, and I love playing it out. But I love even more. I love when we're out and somebody else plays it and we get the chance to dance to it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. No, I do.
It's just, that's a proper kind of emotional, like goosebumpy record for me, that one. So yeah, that one's getting buried with me for definite.
But it's what we are as humans, isn't it? We have these things that we hold dear to us, and their relationships, their friendships, their moments in time, their objects. All of these things are the things that spin around us, and is what makes us alive, I think. And it's so important to be able to tell stories about what things mean to us, in the same way that it's so important to tell people what they mean to us. I mean, rather than not saying it. And so, but then you have the added dimension that actually you can experience the music, and the music is something that either you play yourself, or as you say, sometimes someone plays for you, and you're just like, whoa, this is amazing. It's just, look, I don't know, we're on a roll, so I need to know about your third record, please. What have you got?
Okay, so my third out of 5.
Well, the other two are in brackets at the end, aren't they?
They're in brackets. They're just an honorary mention.
That's perfect.
So my third record, and this is a huge favourite. This is one that I tend to play and try and run on the dance floor and have a dance to it while it's on. And this is the Girdwood Singers, Stand on the One.
That's is that the UK 7?
Yeah, that's the UK 7.
Oh, because I've got the 12, and the actual one that is, it's about 6 minutes long. Yeah. So talk to me about this, because I adore that track. It's just, my God.
It is amazing, and I get it's got everything. It's got the gospel vocals. It's got I love the bass that goes through it as well. It's just, this is one that I will sing at the top of my voice.
I'd join you. I would, no hesitation.
I would.
I've played out.
Proper hands in the air.
Yeah, absolutely. I've played it out a couple of times at D8, and I don't care at that moment whether people are going, what's this? You know, it's kind of like...
Me neither.
But it makes me, like with the piano and everything, most of us are used to waiting for the breaks and that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So it's a normal thing for us to be able to be patient with things. Now, I don't play it out too much because it's 6 minutes.
It's such a build up, like a proper crescendo at the end.
I'm getting goosebumps while you're talking.
There's nothing better than just seeing. We've actually been lucky enough. There's a duo up in Scotland called Yogi Houghton used to run a weekender, the Scottish Soulful Weekender, and that was our first experience of weekenders. Yeah. And it's a total up for it crowd. And we've met so many amazing friends through SSW. But from that, he started to run a wee afternoon clubbing. Okay. So it's on from 3 o'clock in the afternoon till 9 o'clock, which is perfect when you get to your age.
It sounds very attractive.
But honestly, you should see this. It's in a tiny wee basement venue. Yeah. MFSB it's called. Yeah. And everybody's up for it from the minute that you go in at 3 o'clock to the minute you leave at 9 o'clock. Everybody's up on tables and chairs. And this, I mean, I heard one of the residents, David Elders, he's an amazing DJ up in Scotland, plays a lot of soulful hits, plays a lot of everything actually. Yeah, yeah. And whenever he played the Girdwood Singers, and I was just like, what in the world is that?
Yeah.
And then I got a copy, and we've been lucky enough to DJ there a few times. It's one of my favourite places.
Yeah, sounds
honestly,
lovely.
if you ever get the chance to visit, you should definitely do it.
Yeah.
Because everybody's so lovely. But
Yeah.
see, whenever this gets played, we've got a video the first time that Dave and I played at MFSB, and I played this as our last track, and I'm no kidding you, the place went mental. Like everybody, like I said, up on chairs, up on tables, everybody's hands are in the air, and what a moment! It's one of my favourite moments.
Yeah.
Again, you know, of any of my spots that I've done. And it's all to do with this record. And I play it. People must be getting a bit bored of it now whenever I play, because I play it as often as I can, because it's what an uplifting, gorgeous record.
I'd say it's in my top 5. It's just absolutely, every time you hear it, and you just, the piano, and then you start, and then you think, and then you just, and then you're back at 4 o'clock in the morning somewhere in the middle of nowhere, and then you're in a soul club as well. And it brings all of those disparate strands together I don't have that single, and it is on my list of things because I don't know, I adore that song. I'm so thrilled you chose it, because it just, I'm a big fan. I don't buy much, but I am a big fan of the more kind of gospel stuff, and I love NYCC and all of those kind of things.
Oh, me too, yeah.
And it's just when you hear them, now I'm not particularly religious as a person, but it doesn't matter. You can feel something. You can feel a profound joy in the voices. It's like when you hear Aretha Franklin. It's just when you watch that concert film and all of that kind of stuff, you think, oh my God, there's something.
You just can't help it.
The power of music. Yeah, exactly. So you're singing along behind, and then we're all doing that.
Your eyes are shut, and you're just,
look, it's one of those moments when I think whenever it comes on, I would always feel exactly the same about it. And it just, for me, it would be close to being a funeral record, I think.
I would like to get buried with that one as well.
I kind of go in and out. It was always for me, Frankie Knuckles, Your Love, and all of that kind of stuff.
I love that too. Yeah.
So I always think, will I play that? But then that goes on quite a while, and I know that people would be bored. They want to get to the sandwiches and the beer. So, so maybe the 7-inch of that would be better, because it's shorter. But I don't know. Now, I heard a rumor, Lynn, that you have a couple of additional records that you want to sneak into the show. Now,
I'll do them both at once.
Well, I made Paul hold them both up at the same time. So if you want to do that, you can. I don't mind at all, because vinyl will keep me talking. Oh, hello. Now, hang on. That's 10 City.
Yeah.
Again, go on, talk to me, please. Come on.
This just, from a very young age, from going clubbing.
Yeah.
If you can't get up and dance to this, as soon as you hear that opening, you hear Byron Stingley's voice, you're just like, wow, straight on the dance floor. This is, again, I keep saying goosebumpy, but it's proper.
No, I'm getting that feeling listening to you talk about it. It's the vocal. It's the vocal for me, because it's not off. It's almost if Chet Baker sang House. It's almost slightly out in a lovely way. I don't know. I can't describe it, but it's one of those records that kind of makes me mushy as well. No, I think actually we won't make that an honourable mention. I'm breaking the rules of this show, Lynn. It goes in as number 4. Exactly. I don't care. I'm scrapping the format. That's number 4.
Break the rules.
Yeah. There's no point having rules if you can't bend or break them occasionally.
Exactly. And it's your show, Barney. You can break the rules if you want to.
Well, but only when I'm led astray by wonderful people like yourself. So I can imagine. That's why I like the look of your set so much, because I would be sitting there, and then you'd play Juba, and then it would be 10 City, and I would be like, that's nice, because I know you would also be playing something that might be seen as a bit more traditional. I know you play things like Thelma Houston as well, and all of that kind of stuff, and I adore Thelma Houston. Is kind of
I love her as well.
Yeah,
I think I love what I love, basically. And like I said, whether it be Soulful House or bit of disco, bit of 90s R&B. Like I'll just play what I love. And I guess Dave and I are we're lucky enough, we've been asked to be, we're residents at True Soul in Scotland. I don't know if you've ever been there. You should come to True Soul. It's
I'd
amazing.
I'd love to.
We only do a weekend every year now.
Yeah.
And it's just amazing. And again, the same sort of thing, like they'll play, you just get free rein to play whatever you want. The punters are up for it. Colin Law, he runs it. And we love Colin, and we're absolutely delighted to be asked. But again, they do a Saturday afternoon spot, and it's Jock O'Connor and Cliff Steele that do it. And it's the same sort of thing. It's just across the spectrum, you know, soul, house, bit of disco, just everything. And I think that's, to me, that's what makes a great club, if you can just play right across the spectrum.
I think so. I think every box should be big enough to hold such a range of stuff, because it's all, I mean, whatever we say about it, and I'm gonna, it's all dance music, and it could be, it's 60s, it's stuff today, all points in between. If people dance to it, then it works, you know. Exactly. And it's you'll mix it up, and always everybody has a get out of jail card, and sometimes a lot of people will throw on Harold Melvin if nothing's happening, because that always gets everybody moving.
And that's another dance floor filler. I love that record too.
Absolutely. But it's kind of like, I think if we're going to talk about passion, then there's also the idea of celebration and sharing your passion and sharing those moments, and growing up having been to dance floors and venues and heard records, and for the 4 minutes, the 5 minutes, the 3 minutes, everyone on the dance floor is together. You never lose that. And I think that's something that is part of the ecstasy of listening to music, I think, and playing it live. Because, you know, the other thing that's important to me and to this show and to you and to Dave and everybody is that it has to be vinyl. I could go to a venue and plug my phone in and play a Spotify playlist, but I wouldn't want to do that. That's kind of there's no fun, because
that's part of the passion, I guess.
I think it is. And it's the waiting, the collecting, it's the nurturing, the looking after, the refusing to get rid of. You know, I love hearing you say these are records I'd never get rid of.
Unfortunately, we've only got a 2-bedroom flat, so if this collection gets any bigger, we're going to have to buy a bigger boat.
That's absolutely fine. You'll need a bigger boat. I'll come back in a year to check on whether the boat's still floating. So,
I'll be sitting like this behind a pile of records talking.
Well, that would be fabulous. You could just kind of like shift a couple of albums over and go, I'm still here. Last time we spoke, the pile was this high. Now it's here.
Now it's up here.
That would be fabulous. So I'm going to, okay, the rules are now broken. So, Lynne, you have a 5th record. What have you got?
I do, and I promise this is the last one, I promise.
It doesn't matter at all. I don't care.
That again, I've played all my records that I'm going to get buried with.
Okay.
So I've showed you all the records I'm going to get buried with. So this is, I'll turn it up the right way. This is another one that I'm going to get buried with.
Okay, so you're going to be buried 4 or 5 times, are you?
They're all going to be in the casket with.
Oh, good. Okay, because otherwise.
This is Good Lovin' by The Rising Sun.
That's nice.
And it took me so long to get this. Like I'd heard it. I think I'd heard it just like on a playlist on a Mixcloud or something that I was listening to.
Yeah.
And I remember running through to Dave, being like, "What is this record? I don't know. I don't know what it is. We need to find it." And you know, we did a bit of research and everything, and I found that it was Good Lovin'. And then I remember it was our friend Jules who had it up for sale.
Yep.
And I was totally skint at the time, but we were like, do you know what? We'll just, it's okay. We'll get it.
Yeah.
Beans and toast for the rest of the month. Actually, beans and toast for the rest of the year.
Yeah, exactly.
As long as you can get it. And again, this is one that I played in my very first spot in Aberdeen. Wow. And I still play it in my spots. I play it as often as I can play it. Because it's just one of the records that, again, goosebumps, and I sing along to it. I love the words.
Yeah.
And I remember actually feeling quite bad about it at the time, because my good friend Chris was after it. And it was one of the ones where you're like, yes, I've actually managed to get it. And like having to say, I'm really sorry, Chris. I'm not sorry.
Yeah. If you're watching, Chris, she is, but she's not. And look, this is where it is. There's no doubt in my mind, Lynn, I need to be where you're playing a set sometime, because
would be great.
As soon as, over here, nothing I don't think is going to be happening because my thing is, how can you social distance in a small club? You wouldn't be able to.
Well, I don't think you can. And I think we're still holding out. True Souls on in September, but I hope we can still do it, but I'm not sure. And then we're over in Berlin again in December, so that would be great if we could get back over to Berlin in December.
Yeah.
I would love that. But it's strange, scary times that we're all living in. And I like you, I don't know if we're ever going to get back out this year anyway. I don't know.
And also, if they suddenly said, "Oh, you can," would you want to?
Exactly.
That's the thing. A lot of us have grown up in tiny little venues, like where we have our D8. It's this lovely underground club with a tiny little dance floor.
Mm-hmm.
But it would be ruined by the fact you could only have 10 people in there, or you can't dance, or you could 2 people on the floor at a time.
Or you'd be terrified to give somebody a cuddle. I'm a cuddler.
Yeah, I'm the same. I'm always on the door. If you came in, I'd give you a hug and say hi. But I can't do that now. I might have to bump your elbow, but it's
kind of... Where's the fun in that? You don't bump elbows. You want to get a cuddle.
I don't know. I would like to think, Lynn, that next year things might have some sense of returning back to. It won't be the same. I
hope so.
It'll be a new difference. But there's some time in the future where I would be thrilled if you came over to Dublin. I just played anything you wanted, and all that's happened today is it's convinced me even more that I was right to reach out to you on Facebook. Because Lynn, it's been a real thrill to chat to you. Thank you so much.
Well, I've loved it, and I know I've waffled, but I tend to do that. It might be the couple of Bloody Marys that I had before.
It's the point of the show. Listen, all I do is I connect with people like you, and I say, I'm pressing record. Please keep talking. And Lynn, it's been amazing. I'm going to draw the show to an end. Okay. I'm going to say, Lynne Girdwood, thank you very much for sharing these records with us. I'm going to say to everybody watching, thank you for watching. Remember, please subscribe to the channel, because it means that we can keep moving and keep getting episodes out. You can follow us on Twitter as well. We are in the Record Room on Twitter. Thank you very much, everybody. Thank you very much, Lynn. I still have goosebumps from talking about these records, and I really look forward to seeing you soon.